Hello, people. What is going on this Thursday night? A lot of stress for me. I'm not going to lie, but we'll get into that. To my right is Lucas. Down the bottom there is Mitch with Miss Mitch. Shout out to Mitch. And over there is Jay. You know who he is.
Pray for the super thing, I said the other day, James.
I know, mate. I know, but we'll get on to that. Lucas, how you doing, man?
I'm good. Just another day out on the East Coast. A bit cloudy. Rain looks imminent, like Maxwell Cornet's moved to Southampton, but we move on. Yeah,
I agree. Jay, what about yourself? How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good, mate. I was discussing with Lucas before we went live. The highlight of my week is all the new food places outside London Stadium. I'm glad to have made my first appearance there of the season, and it's the best part of it. I swear down. So all good over here, mate.
Mitch, how are you doing, sir?
Not bad. I'm all right.
Fucking hell. All right, yeah. Fucking a man of optimism and like less chat. You know what I mean? He did get quoted the other day, I must admit. His video got blitzed, mate, about Soufal. That he was
saying, really harsh saying Soufal should never play for the club again. I didn't fucking say that.
Well, he sort of said it, but I had to put something on the edit.
I said he shouldn't be playing in the Premier League for us again.
Well, you know, same thing, but you know, it is what it is. Welcome back, Mitch. Anyway, right, let's get into the first thing. And it's like, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll do the match preview first, right? And we'll obviously talk about Man City and all that. Lucas, what are you saying about Man City coming up, mate?
Not a lot to say. Gundogan back, so yeah, it's all looking downhill from here. I'm not one of those like fake positive, fake optimism kind of guys. If I feel it, I feel it. If I don't, I don't. I'm a straight shooter, I like to think. So yeah, I don't know. The only optimism I really have when City come to London is that we do normally give them a pretty good game. Except last season when Holland scored on his debut, but we didn't beat them. They played well, but when they come to London Stadium, there's a little bit of optimism to be had. But really, that's about it. They're flying at the minute. They look good, and hopefully they win the Premier League again. That's all I got to say.
Jay, what are you saying about Man City, mate?
Yeah, they're pretty frightening again, aren't they? Like I think we said before the season had started when we did our like Premier League predictions tier list thing, that they are just a machine. And the addition of Savinho, I watched him a bit in the Spanish league last year. He's an absolute player. He's settled in so well, and I think he's going to have a great season for him. And they've just got an embarrassingly good squad. They look like they got caught flat-footed against Ipswich on the weekend, and then within 60 seconds remembered who they were and just took them apart, and then looked like they were at a canter in the second half. So yeah, frightening team, mate. I expect we're in for a very tough time on Saturday.
Mitch, what are you saying about Manchester City, mate?
They look good, look sharp. Harden looks on form. Same old City. Yeah, I think we'll lose. What are you laughing for?
It's just like, what more can we say about these guys? They're so good. And then Gundogan coming back, who is one of their most pivotal players in their reign of terror. I mean, what more can we do? I mean, like Jay said, we did a tier list, and I put Arsenal up top because I do think it's going to happen. I don't want it to happen, but I mean, with Gundogan back, providing competition for like so many key players, and I think that's why City are just so good. Like, don't get me wrong, Pep is one of the greatest to ever do it, and he might have the greatest mentality out of any Premier League manager there's ever been, but he emphasizes competition so much. Yeah. And that's one reason why I really, really respect him. He doesn't shy away from competition. He actually likes to really make his players a bit uncomfortable. Like, your spot is not safe because whoever's coming in next is just as good as you and can do exactly what you do. And yeah, that's why I really think City are just such a force.
For me, they're the best team in the league. Yeah, they've got the best manager in the league, and they've got the best squad in the league. And I think when you combine all them, they are an unbeatable force. I watched them against Chelsea the other week, and they took their time and they got the job done. Do you know what I'm saying? Against the Chelsea side that went on the following week to win 6-2. So, I'm going to be honest, it's going to be a tough task at the weekend. Yeah, I think this is more a free hit for West Ham than anything. And I want to see something different than what Lopetegui's done over the last sort of couple of weeks. To lead on to that, what difference do we want to see? That's the main question. Is what is it you want to see different from the previous Villa, Palace, and Bournemouth games?
Starts with
Bournemouth...
C, ends in an L. Starts with an S, ends in a K.
Yeah, don't do Scrabble, people. That's what I'm saying. Don't do fucking Scrabble. Right. What are you saying then, Mitch, about what is it you want to see different?
I've seen a lineup from a bloke who I don't really agree with much on Twitter, JMO FC, and I think sometimes he talks shit and he rims Souček, but he put out this squad today, and I thought, fuck, that's good. And I wouldn't even put it together, but I'm going to say it in a bit. I like it, and it's different. It's nice. I'll tell you in a bit.
Right, Jay, what we got to do different?
So I'm recovering from Mitch. I think we've got to be more compact. We've looked so vulnerable to counterattacks in every single game that we've played. It looks like we're still very early in the journey that we're going on with Lopetegui trying to change the way that we're playing. The signs are there, and I think I had said before the season started, we can't judge anything realistically. You can have opinions on games and on player performances and stuff, but you can't judge the overall journey and the overall project until we're at least 10 to a dozen games in, and you can actually look at like the trajectory of certain things that we're doing. What we've been trying to do in terms of counter pressing has not been great. And if we try and press in any way against City are the most press resistant team that we're going to play against all season. So as much as I'm all for us trying to transform the way that we're playing, we've got to try and be more compact and we've got to try and be more solid, because we were pretty lucky in the last 2 games to keep a clean sheet. As much as I think we did really well to come away, we haven't conceded a goal in 180 minutes of football, which, we were dreaming of that last season. So we have to be more compact. And I'm confident in the fact that after the performance Aaron Wan-Bissaka put in at the weekend, we're going to deal with Jeremy Doku, who tormented us last season. So I want to see us be a bit more solid in central midfield. I don't want to see us getting countered too badly. And I don't want to see us like half-assed pressing is what I would say, because that's been a symptom of what's been wrong with us so far.
Yeah, I agree, mate. I agree. I've got to get to this comment. Does Mitch want to sell any of the new players yet? Mitch, you want to sell anyone yet? Is there anyone that you want to sell?
Possibly yesterday.
Yeah. Well, we'll get onto that later. Lucas, what's the difference? What difference do you want to see?
I want to see if we can play a bit more compact, stay solid, and defend, really. I mean, one thing I always keep in my mind from what Lopetegui said in one of his first pressers was he wants to play different ways. He doesn't want to stick to one way of playing, one tactic. So against City, really, what else can you do, really, besides either press your heart out or park the bus, get stuck in, head everything away? So for me, I think we could see a combination of both, but I really want to see if Lopetegui has a bit of a solidity in his tactics. I want to see us park the bus a bit. I want us to have a chance. I don't want us to lose the match within the first 30 minutes. I would love to get to halftime 1-0 down or 0-0, and then we go from there. But again, I do want to see if Lopetegui does have a different tactic than what we've been seeing. Again, I'll be honest with you, I don't know what kind of style we are playing, but I'd like to see if there's a plan B.
For me, I need to see the attack vibing. That's what I need to see. Like, I'm not convinced on Antonio Fulkrug just yet. I really am not. But I am convinced on Jared Bowen, Kudus, Paqueta, and Somerville. That's one thing I will say. I look at that attack 4, and that's a counter-attacking team against Manchester City. Manchester City are going there to win. Yeah, they're going to come forward, and we need to be a counter-attacking side. Now, low block FC is going to come into play today or on Saturday, and people are going to have to accept that. But I want to see us. I want to see our vibe with West Ham. I've not seen nothing of any note yet. Like, I agree with you, right? And we said it on the space last night. For me, I don't know what the style is. I can't work out what the style of play is. Is it long ball? Is it possession based? Is it controlling the game? I don't know. If someone can tell me, what the style is, I'd love to hear it, because I've got no clue at the minute.
I was going to say on that, James, right? Because I was actually thinking about this today, because I thought exactly the same. Having been there for the first time this season last night, I was at the game, and I didn't think it was as bad as a lot of people were making out. I was probably just happy to be at the ground and having a good time, to be honest.
Yeah.
We didn't concede a goal and it was fine. I don't think it was a classic by any stretch of the imagination, but I thought about it. There was a big disconnect between defensive midfield. No one in the midfield wants the ball. And the wingers were looking for runs in behind, and we were playing pretty straight balls from fullback to winger was a lot of the time. And it wasn't working because Bowen was squaring his man up and it wasn't quite working. Somerville, it didn't really work for him last night as well. And Fulkrug was just up on his own. And I thought, well, I don't have a lot of criticisms for Fulkrug individually, because he didn't feed off of a lot. He was isolated. He worked hard. But the one moment, probably one or two moments, but the one moment that stood out for me was that moment in the first half when Somerville picks the ball up. He dropped off of his fullback. He picked the ball up, I think, from Ward-Prowse, or he gave it to Ward-Prowse into Fulkrug, and Fulkrug flicks it around the corner for Somerville, and Somerville should have at least hit the target. That was the first time that I saw Somerville actually drop off of his man into the half space. Fulkrug spotted him a mile off, an absolute mile off, made the movement off of his man, knowing what run he was going to make, flicked it around the corner, and it looked beautiful. And it looked absolutely perfect. That's what we were looking to do. So I think there's signs that we're going to get there in terms of how we actually deal with sustaining pressure against an opponent. But I think we're still miles off of where Lopetegui wants to get us to. So to come back to what is the actual style at the moment, I think it's one of pragmatism. I think he knows that the personnel we've got at the minute will be good enough to play a style whereby we don't just lump it forward. We can actually pick the ball up. We can actually play it around, and we can have players that know and are intelligent enough and know each other well enough to drop off of their man or to go in behind at the right time. But at the moment, we're not there. So what does he do? Quite sensibly, he goes, stick Souček on in the number 10, just coming off of Antonio or Fulkrug, lump it at him, because it's the most risk-averse strategy whilst you're trying to teach them how to do something. So I think it's just one of pragmatism at the moment, and I'm still confident that in future, we're going to keep seeing this style kind of develop.
And something I'm hoping for on a Saturday, which it just came into my head that we have an opportunity to see for the first time, we could really try the whole Fulkrug, Antonio off the bench scenario, where you start Fulkrug, just have him absolutely terrorize any center back in front of him. Like, literally just throw your body at him, get him tired, get him hurt, and then lump Antonio on the last 20, 25 minutes and let him run ragged all over City if there is a chance. So, yeah, just a thought that came into my head.
Mitch, what are you saying about this style of play at the minute?
Yeah, I think it's very... I think the problem is playing from midfield to attack. There is no build-up play from midfield to attack. It's all
non-existent.
Rodriguez will drop to the same positions where all defenders are, or Cornet did last game against Palace, and they'll just try and pick up a long pass or a pass to the fullback, and then they'll play from the wings. There's no one. And then every now and then a centre back will play a cutting pass that cuts straight through the midfield to a attacker, or say Paqueta who's made a higher run up the pitch. But there's no. I think the off the ball movement is very poor at the minute. Not necessarily in terms of the final third, but just in build up. There's no one. There's just no link up play. I think the only time you see link up play in build up is between Paqueta and Emerson. I think there is a big problem there with everyone understanding their positions.
There's not enough creativity either. There's none.
There isn't that, and obviously that does not help when you've got players like Souček in there, obviously. And it does. I'm not having another dig. It doesn't help when you've got Souček who will not drop deep for the ball. He will not, be moving about all the time, free roaming around the pitch to offer himself help.
At least from the 10 position.
Exactly. And then when you do that, you do have to almost revert to lumping it up because you see no one. You've got players pressing you, which will just happen in the Premier League. You see Souček up the pitch, you think, what's the best option? Lump it up.
What you're saying is so true. And what I would really like to see, instead of maybe lumping the ball forward, just sizzle a ball on the ground to Füllkrug and give him a chance. Let him control it and let him try and work something, because I know Mitch is an absolute he gets disgusted with Soufal hoofballs, and I get it. But I feel the same way a bit with like the way we're asking Paqueta to create. Like, he's just hoofing balls up to players and our strikers that they're not getting in behind. That's not their game anymore. At least with Antonio, and Füllkrug's never been like that from what I've seen. So I would like
stop doing that again. Is it on Lopetegui to tell him to do that as well?
Yeah, exactly. But I could say that with Soufal as well. But
no, Soufal was different.
Oh Soufal was like, I bet he's different.
Just like,
is it because he's Czech?
Shout out to Jack. Happy Hour podcast. We'll nick a draw late on. Shout out to Jack. Hope you're well, man.
But like I was saying, and thank you. Instead of lumping the ball forward, I'd like to maybe just see Füllkrug or Antonio get a chance with their back to the defender, ball at feet, and then work off that, because that's the vision I was thinking of when we brought Füllkrug in, because that's what he does best. He finishes, and you can play off him. But we haven't really seen that, and we definitely didn't see it yesterday because he only had 14 touches.
You got to remember as well, before James goes into another inevitable character assassination of poor old Nicholas Füllkrug. You got to remember he's not fully fit yet as well. It was his first start yesterday. He had no one near him, and I thought the problem with the flat three that we played was glaringly obvious in exactly what we'd said. Mitch said we weren't. There was no build-up play. There was no creativity, and there was a comment. I can't remember what the person's name was, but somebody just said about like an Alvarez and Guido Rodriguez double pivot. The issue you've got there, and I've got no problem with that in certain games. Like there are games like tonight. It's not happening tonight. We'd all be a bit busy. Saturday, for example, I'd have no problem if I saw Rodriguez and Alvarez as your double pivot to start, because we're going to have to be compact and we're going to have to block low. We're going to see very little of the ball. That's absolutely fine. But in a game last night, it was glaringly obvious why we have to be more versatile in terms of the way that we set up our midfield. Yeah. And there's a reason, and there is a lot of people out there that have a lot of resistance to this as a concept. There's a reason Paqueta is playing in the midfield too when we play 4-2-3-1. It's because the build-up play, if you want somebody who's actually going to be able to pick a pass, you have to have someone who's a natural passer in there. And I hate to say it, Guido Rodriguez, I thought he'd come on and his passing was really good last night. Right. I thought he looked decent. I thought he looked fine. But ultimately, if you have him and Alvarez in central midfield, there's still going to be absolutely no creativity coming from there, and you're still not going to be able to build up from the back. So this problem isn't going away until we start looking at different solutions for different kind of games. And I was really disappointed for the likes of James Ward-Prowse last night, because I thought he was fine, but that was his chance to either play himself into the manager's plans or play himself into the shop window. And I thought he was fine. I thought he was really good. Okay, I thought he was fine. There was times when he linked up well, but he didn't grab the ball by the horns. He didn't turn around and go, do you know what? I want to play.
The correct word to use for his performance last night, in my opinion, was passive. Yeah. It was very passive. But again,
but that's always been Ward-Prowse. He's never had any bollocks. He's always played like a pussy and just not implemented himself in the game. But that's always been my frustration, because I feel like he's always been able to do some fucking passes. But as soon as Paqueta came on, bang, he's straight in it. He's picking out dangerous passes. He's playing riskier football, which is what you got to do.
I really think the only way to solve the creativity issue as well is we might have to drop someone else into the midfield, and instead of playing three up top, you got to drop maybe like Kudus more centrally because he's creative. I don't know. But again, the formation we're playing at present, there's just not enough creativity nor build up. So maybe something has to give. I don't know. That's just how I see it.
I'm going to say this, few things. First thing, number one, Paqueta in midfield. I think he's a walking yellow card every single time. Literally every single time.
But then what is the other option? You cannot
Yeah,
play
the other option is
Socek, Rodriguez, Alvarez are all too much.
right. The other option is you take off the two strikers that we've got, Antonio and Füllkrug. You've got Bowen up front, Kudus on the right, Somerville on the left, and Paqueta as the 10. That is the only option. The problem we've got at West Ham, which no one seems to mention at all, and they keep bypassing it every fucking time, is that we are always going to have a player out of position every single time with a striker up front. It's a fact.
And that was my huge. That's like really my only problem with the Füllkrug signing. I knew exactly this problem would arise when I heard that we were going to sign him, because I've always said I think our strongest lineup involves Bowen up top. Do I necessarily love it? No, but he's proved that he can produce from there. But like you just said, it's a huge issue, and the fact that we are going to have to shoehorn someone out, it shouldn't be like that, in my opinion.
Shout out to White Theory. It'd be good for our bet builders.
You know what? That is actually a shout. What Epic said there. Honestly, I'm being deadly serious here. I think Irving deserves a crack of the whip at some point. He played riskier passes than Ward-Prowse has ever fucking attempted for West Ham in the one friendly game he made an appearance in. And that's all we need. That is all we need.
All I'm going to say is, and I understand what Monty's saying in the chat there, Bowen isn't going up front. I understand that. Yeah, I really do. But you are always going to have a problem where one player, either Kudus or Paqueta, is going to be out of position. Now, listen, midfield is a key position for us, and we've got a problem in there. And even the used boys have mentioned it tonight. We mentioned it on Spaces. And I've heard it over the last couple of weeks that we're going from defence to attack too quick. And every time we go into midfield, well, we're not creative enough to do anything to move it up the pitch gradually. So the problem is that how do you go around that? Now, for me, Alvarez, Rodriguez, possibly. Like, I think you go with them two, like, as a steady pair. Paqueta just in front of them as a 10, like a false 10. Drops when we're not in possession of the ball, he drops into midfield. When we've got possession of the ball, he goes as a 10. I think you go down that way. Like, the problem is it all goes back to Kudus on the left-hand side, because he's trying to shoehorn Kudus into the left-hand side.
Not if you're saying if you play Bowen up top, though.
Yeah,
you play Bowen up top, then you play Kudus on the right.
I understand that, but is he going to do that though? I don't think he is, mate. If I'm being real.
He won't. He wouldn't do that.
Do you know what I'm saying? So that's what the problem is with the Füllkrug one. It's like I heard it last night, and I'm just going to mention this quickly. He's come in to replace Mikel Antonio. Let's remember that he's not coming to replace Danny Ings. He's coming to replace Mikel Antonio and be the centre forward at West Ham United Football Club. For me, last night he needed to do more, and he just didn't. I don't know about you, Mitch. Obviously, I spoke to Lucas last night and Jay come on the space, but Füllkrug hasn't really done a lot for me to go.
I wanted to see a bit more. Again, he worked hard, and I appreciate how hard he worked. But I think he just, I don't know. I wanted a little bit more. There was some time where he could have done certain little things different, I think.
I just don't know what more he can do with the midfield he was given and what they didn't do properly or correctly.
Yeah.
Like, and again, 14 touches. Asking a striker to do something with 14 touches, I don't think there's many players in the world that could do that, produce with only that amount of touches. Again, like, it's a big issue when you have Füllkrug and Souček kind of further up, and Souček had 42 touches. Füllkrug had 14. That's not a good sign, in my opinion.
Well, we're going to get into it. Let's get to this, which is the starting 11. Right, we'll go through it quickly. Areola in goal. I think we'd all agree on that. Emerson left back. We all agree on that. Who's the centre half pairings for you, Lucas?
I would love it to be a certain Frenchman that I think will turn out good at this club, but after his debut the other night, I don't think Lopetegui will be playing him. I think it will be Mavropanos and Kilman.
Jay, would you agree?
I would play both of them, but I would play a back three, and I would play Todibo as well. I think that I agree. It wasn't a great debut from Todibo. There was signs of what he's going to be capable of doing. I thought he looked good for like the first 5-10 minutes or so, and then he started playing some passes quite weirdly, and then he got caught out of position a few times. But this was part of the learning process for him, and I think we're going to need to be compact. We're going to need a low block. I think it's the perfect chance to fry him in with 2 centre backs with him and be a bit more compact. So yeah, I play back 3.
But do you think that's going to happen? Is what I'm saying.
Probably not. No, but if it's me, I would play the back 3. Otherwise, I think he's probably going to play Mavropanos. Realistically.
Mitch, what are you saying?
Say a couple of things. Lopetegui will be an absolute cunt if he does try to match City and play a high line. I will seriously consider this manager's sanity if he does actually try and play a back four.
Entertaining football. Entertaining football.
You want to be fucking entertained, Mitch?
That will not entertain me.
I agree.
It'll kill me.
My starting 11 would be. I was going for it quickly. I'll play back 5. Play Wan-Bissaka right wing back.
Start with the defence.
Yes, Aguerd in goal. Wan-Bissaka, Emerson the wing backs. Todibo, Kilman, Mavropanos in the back 3.
Now stop.
Stop.
Let's move on together.
Yeah,
let's move on together.
Let's move on together, Mitch. You mean don't come in here.
I'm building the plot for my theory. I can feel it coming.
I know.
Wan-Bissaka right back. I think we can all agree that's gotta be it going forward.
Yeah. Well, what's happening in midfield? Alvarez.
Mitch, you take the reins, buddy.
Alvarez and Paqueta, I'd sit just in front of the fence because I think this is the game where we will just be sitting deep all the time. Our players will be running, doing all the runs, and I think it'd be good to have Paqueta just to ping them passes. I think that's the way you've got to go against this City side.
So
Haaland shows how good he is in behind. You know, when we played against him before, I remember he cut through us on his debut against Ipswich.
He is Haaland still is a bit questionable with his back to the ball, I will say.
So we've got to just sit deep. I think we have to.
Right, who's the front 3, Jay, for you?
Again, so if it's me, my front 3, obviously I'm playing a sort of 3-4-3 kind of thing, and I'm having a midfield 4. Obviously, I'm having wing backs of Wan-Bissaka and Emerson. I would have probably one of Alvarez and Rodriguez and Souček as my midfield 2, and I would have, I was waiting for that, and I would have a front 3 of. Probably, again, this is me personally, probably Bowen, Kudus, Paqueta. And I would play Bowen as sort of a false 9 because we're going to need to counter-attack. And the reason I personally do that is because we've got pace going forward. Paqueta's going to drop in centrally and help out with transition. Kudus is going to drop in when he needs to. Bowen can either go in behind or he can drop in as well. And then, like, realistically, we're going to get maybe 2-3 chances in the game from open play. And they won't be clear-cut chances. You probably need Souček on the pitch for a set piece. Like, realistically, because if we're going to win this game, we're going to win it 1-0. Like, that's the only way we're winning this game. So that's what I do personally. However, if he's playing 4 with like a midfield, like whatever, then I think the front 3 that we're going to probably see, I can see him starting Fulkrug. I think he got minutes in his legs on Wednesday. I think he got used to a bit of a longer time in the against the Premier League opposition. He's going to start Bowen and he'll probably stick Kudus on the left again. And he'll probably put Paqueta in the 10 and he'll play 2 6s. But, you know, we'll see.
For me, I agree with what you were saying there about Kudus, Bowen and Paqueta. But for me, I'll swap Souček around with Paqueta and take Souček out of this game. And for me, I think you need pace. And I
really don't think Souček, for me, should be starting this game. I actually don't think it's the game for him.
It depends on what Lopetegui wants to do, and really, that's an absolute mystery in itself.
It is a mystery. I'm going to be honest. Just to say this, it is a mystery of how he's playing Souček. Like, i.e., like the other day he was a 10. then like, do you know what I mean? He's moving all over the place, really, and we can't
But
really
Lopetegui
know.
is a fucking weirdo in terms of like he wants to play this. No, but he wants to play this style of play, but then he's playing Souček, which just literally results us to playing these long balls up because obviously
not just playing him in the 10.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a weird one.
I know I joked with Lucas before the season saying how happy I am that Souček won't be starting.
He started every game, Mitch. What are you on about?
Man, and again, it's not really just you. Like, I mean, I'm not saying I definitely want to have better than Souček, but I still think he gets massively disrespected. But that's not the point. Really, I don't know what Lopetegui wants to do. If we are going to go low block, park the bus, stay compact, clear everything away, I think Souček has to play.
Yeah.
But if we're not going for that approach, I don't want him to play. So, like, for me, I know you're finishing your thought, but, like, I'm just going to go based off a 4-3-3. I would still play the same defense that we have been. I would play – it's not – I don't even care what I want. I think it's going to be Souček, Alvarez, Paqueta, Kuz on the left, Fulkrug up top, Bowen on the right. That's what I think he's going to play.
I think what you just said there is probably true, but Fulkrug out, Antonio in. That's the only thing I don't think Fulkrug will start. I'll be very shocked if he starts Fulkrug over Antonio.
But yeah, the only reason I say that, and again, I tried not to put my preference in there, but I did a bit. Like I don't like Fulkrug off the bench as of this moment. Yeah. I'd rather see him start, throw his body around, get the other center halves tired, and then Antonio, who is still faster than Fulkrug, has a bit more pace than him, same strength. Then maybe he can get in behind, maybe he can create something, but I don't know. It's a weird one because, again, everyone has their preferences, and what all of you said, and I really don't disagree with. It's just the tactics and the play style that is such a huge mystery. He is an oddball, or Julian.
He most certainly is. Right, score prediction time. Mitch, give me a score prediction.
I didn't say my final bit of the lineup.
Yeah, mate, because you did start way ahead.
You started way ahead. Right, I'll remix it then, Mitch. Finish for you. Right, finish off what you're saying, bruv.
Kudus, Bowen, Somerville up top would be my front three.
Oof.
Kudus, Somerville.
I think
I don't think this is the match for Somerville. Personally,
he's getting thrown to the wolves if you start him against City. Like it's too soon for him. I think you got Ipswich coming up soon. I think the Ipswich game is where you, in my opinion, start to go more expansive and where you could see Somerville start. I don't think this is the game for him. I think you've got to be sensible and you've got to make sure you're not out of the game by 60 minutes. If we're 2-0 down at half time, the game's dead. If you start Somerville, he looked out of his depth a little bit.
What is the best fight to win the game? I think that is the way to go about it. I think it just hit on the break. You got three pacey players up there. Paqueta pinging the passes. I can see that working the best personally. But Souček will start. Souček will start. Antonio will start. 2-0 down by 35th minute, and then we'll be chasing the game.
I can't wait for a Souček 1-0 win, like in the minute.
Another chaos goal. Bring it to me.
Oh, it hits so hard.
You know full well Mitch will go missing in action, but it is what it is. Right, fucking 100%. Right, score prediction time. Mitch, over to you, son. Take it away. What you saying?
2-0 City.
2-0 City. I'll go next. I don't know why. I've got a feeling we're going to draw this game. I don't know. I think we're going to play low. But one thing with this team, everyone said about Moyes last season, one thing we do know is that's play a fucking low block. And I think we're going to low block.
Do you trust Lopetegui yet? That's the thing.
Do I trust the process?
No. He asked, do you trust him yet?
Not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet.
That's the thing. So it would not surprise me. It really would not surprise me if we did play back four and we came out the block trying to take it to City and then Haaland's in behind by the 6th minute.
People want to be fucking entertained. They're going to be entertained when we're 4-0 down, isn't it? So it is what it is. I'm going to say this. Low block FC on Saturday night. I think we're going to draw 2-2. I don't know why. I've got a funny feeling West Ham are going to really turn up this one. Right. I hope so. I hope so more than anything. Maybe it's my heart saying 2-2, but my head saying 3-1 City. But I'll be real. Lucas, what you saying?
I've kind of got two predictions, but I am going to land on one. If we do try and go out all guns blazing, which I would, is it naive to do? Yes, but I would respect it a bit going into international break. But if we go out all guns blazing, we try to press them, play a high line, do what we've been doing, I think we will lose probably like 3-1. But if we play low block, we stay compact, we defend first, worry about the attack later when we get our chance. I do genuinely think we could nick a goal and maybe keep them out. But inevitably, I don't see us switching into that tactic that fast. Maybe if we were like 5 or 6 more matches down the line and we've seen it 1 or 2 times, possibly I could predict we'd switch our tactics. But I think we're still in the betting process, obviously, so I don't think we're going to change much the way we play. So I'm going to predict I'm going to go a bit kinder. I'll go 2-1 City.
2-1 City.
But it's not going to feel like a 2-1. It's going to feel like they've dominated.
Jay, what you saying?
Yeah, I think we'll probably be 1 down at half time, and I think we'll be in the game, and I think we'll probably lose this game 3-1 because we'll be chasing it, and because we won't sit back and like we did previously and go, do you know what, a 1-0 loss at home to City is okay, and just wait until like the 85th to make changes. One thing that we talk about, do we trust Julian Lopetegui yet? Mate, I trust him with my house keys, my car keys. I trust him with everything. He's shown that he's not going to sit on his hands. He dragged Todibo at half-time yesterday because he didn't.
He deserves credit for that. He really does.
You've got to give it where it's due. And ultimately, he made 5 changes. I was sitting there just buzzing that I saw 5 substitutions in a game last night. Like, I was absolutely buzzing. So I think we'll probably lose the game because we will start to expand. I think we'll get 1 goal, but I think City will have too much for us. But as we've said, this is a free hit. As long as we see signs of progress and we don't get blown away like 4 or 5-0, then I'm fine with it. So I think we lose 3-1, but I think we'll give a good account of ourselves.
Yeah, listen, I agree. I agree to a point, but I don't know. I just feel West Ham are going to turn up. It's a night game, Saturday night. West Ham have just built
I really can't see it
on night games, but it is what it is. Right, we're coming to the after hours bit.
What are the odds on a West Ham lose 5-0, Paqueta yellow card, Souček own goal? I reckon you get 100 to 1 to that.
Who upset you, Mitch? Like, who hurt you in your life? Like, I don't know what's wrong. We haven't conceded a goal in like 3 hours.
Thomas Souček.
And again,
the Czech boys.
What was the stat I heard last night? He's got the highest XG in the Premier League so far this season, whatever that means.
Non-penalty XG.
Yeah. So put some respect on the man's name.
Mitch, how much do you hate Thomas Souček? Because I've got clips of us doing fucking videos 2 years ago, and you were sad about him then. Like, you know what I'm saying? Are you surprised?
You know what, Mitch? I want to make a wager with you, and again, the odds are going to be a bit more in my favor.
I don't hate him. I just really don't like the way he plays, and he frustrates the hell out of me. Every time I see him on the ball, he's not even he can control the ball, right? It's just he looks so awkward. He's stiff. He slows play down.
He is stiff.
He's got no creativity whatsoever in terms of linking up play. Oh, he just really.
Listen, if Souček scores on Saturday, Mitch,
last night as well, I made me laugh.
If Souček scores on Saturday, I'm going to send you that picture of me and Souček at preseason training, and you have to make it your lock screen for a year.
You think, when Souček scores, I get that, and that is a big part of his game. But him defending corners and scoring goals is the only part of his game. That's the thing.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. But he doesn't do enough. I know what you're saying, like from a midfield.
He's got a place in the squad, but if Lopetegui wants to play this possession-based thing the whole season, you can't be playing Souček as the fucking 10, man.
Let me ask you this, Mitch. Let me ask you this. Was he enough for you when he was pissing blood out of his head at home against Spurs in 2021? KO and still Undertaker style, resurrected himself to try and block a shot from 8 yards when he was at point blank range, and then went off to 10 minutes to have his head stapled together so that he could come back and play the rest of the game. Was that enough for you?
That was enough, but that was 3 years ago.
Yeah, that's brilliant. One thing I will say, before we go on to a few subjects, before we wrap this up, is that I am surprised how much Lopetegui's using him, and people, I think people don't understand that Lopetegui likes this geezer. He really does.
And I think people don't truly know the way Lopetegui plays. Everyone was saying that he plays this and that, all this. I've always said from the beginning he doesn't look too far off from Moyes, and that's just me.
Yeah.
But again, if people are thinking he was going to play a complete different way in that facet, yes, I can see why they're surprised that Thomas Souček is playing a lot. But me personally, I'm not.
I still maintain on that. Like, to maybe put a different perspective on it, I agree. Like, he's not going to necessarily be as expansive as we all dream that he would. But A, he hasn't come here, and B, he
never
spent
has
the guts
been.
But he's not spent the guts of 200 million quid to come here and lump the ball at Thomas Souček for 2 years. Like that, he just hasn't
Imagine
done
if that was the case.
Yeah, this is the thing. And if it was the case, then my God, like, the man needs to be studied. And like, I'll eat my words, and I'll happily like hold the L for that. But there's no way the man has spent this much money just to come and lump the ball long and hope that we win 1-0 off of a knockdown. Otherwise, we shouldn't even kept Moyes. We should have got Sam Allardyce back. Like he would have done better with 150, 200 mil to play hoofball. So I think this is a pragmatic period that we're going to go through whilst he's still getting used to actually being able to have possession. The metrics show we've actually played more passes. We've had more possession. We've done more of that kind of stuff. It hasn't been positive and it hasn't been great. But at the same time, we're 3 games in, boys. Like, he's just doing what we know and what we're good at until we're ready to do something different.
Yeah, but I agree with what you just said there. But I do look at Lopetegui and think, why do you consistently play this geezer? And not only are you playing him to a point, you're playing him in a 10. Like, that makes no sense whatsoever. Like, I'm not being rude, nothing. If that was David Moyes last season, people would have gone fucking berserk. I mean, literally completely berserk, saying, what are you doing? Lopetegui's putting him in a 10, and it's like, it doesn't make no sense.
Shall I tell you my theory, James? Shall I tell you my theory? My theory is, when we cast our minds back to pre-season, we didn't have Lucas Paqueta in pre-season. We didn't have most of our key players, right? But you look at what Souček did in pre-season. He was an absolute disaster. He gave the ball away in our own box, and Wolves scored, and he couldn't string a pass together. Like, we know that Souček's strength is not his passing, right? My theory is this. My theory is that Lopetegui sees what we see, in that we know we have no connection between our defenders and our midfield. We haven't had that. We've not had a progressive player in our midfield for as long as I can remember. And he knows that Souček needs to play as far away from his own goal as possible so that he's not giving the ball away. So lo and behold, the best way for him to play at the moment, whilst he's still building his squad, they're still getting up to speed, they're still getting match fit, and they're still getting used to playing together, is stick Souček as far away as possible, because he will stick his head and he will stick his foot and he will stick wherever he needs to, and he'll put the ball in the goal occasionally. And that way, it's just sensible and pragmatic.
What you just said, I'm going to leave it off on this. It might just be time to chuck Souček into the 9.
I agree with you, mate. Give him the captain's armband.
I think it's time. Just stick Souček up top.
The problem is, if you're going to play that system, you are going to play Souček in the 10, then why play a high line? Why not just sit deep? Or sit deeper?
Yeah,
why are we trying to play this possession? Why are we playing it so slowly at the back?
See, that what you just said there about being slow from the back. I agree with that, because last night proved it. It was such a slow tempo, right? Against Palace at the weekend, I thought we was passing it about pretty slick to a point. Do you know what I mean? And then we go back to type again. Now, I agree with what Jay's saying, but I think, look, if Lopetegui didn't want to play him, he wouldn't play him. Simple as that. And like, we've got the issue with James Ward-Prowse now, right, where he's possibly going to be going, which I'm going to lead on to now. Yeah, obviously he's been linked with a move to Nottingham Forest and Southampton. I look at the betting odds earlier on, and Southampton are favourites at 11-10. West Ham are obviously in the driving seat. I think they're odds on West Ham for him to stay. Is it right that we're getting rid of James Ward-Prowse, Lucas, for you?
you know me. I've stood on this stance since the start of the season. I've said it many times. I think if Lopetegui is as good as what everyone says, and he's this major upgrade, he should be able to make something happen with the midfield options we have. I think they are good enough. But if he doesn't see Ward-Prowse as the type of midfielder he wants, that's his decision. It's his prerogative to try and move him on. But again, it's not about what I want. I'm not a professional, but I would keep him personally. I think what he did last season, regardless of who the manager was in some of the tactics, he was pivotal for us. He was a good player. And I don't know. Again, it all depends on what Lopetegui wants to do and what his prerogative is. If you're asking me personally, I would keep him 1,000%.
Shout out to Colin. Good show, boys. West Ham win 2-1. Go for 4-1-2-3 or 4-4-2. Two strikers. Souček out the door. Bring Duran and Gimenez. I think his name is. Yeah, Gimenez.
Is that your burner account?
Yeah, that's your burner account, Mitch. Okay, shout out to Colin, mate. Wherever you are.
Mate,
I'm going to
go. So is
two strikers, Mitch. Yeah, well, we need 13 players against City. Right. One thing I'm going to say to you is, right, will you shut the fuck up and let me land, mate? How about that? Do you know what I'm saying? Instead of fucking contradicting me.
Lucas is trying to have me over.
Well, I will buy you the fucking calculator. How about that?
I will have you over.
You can add it up at the end. Right. James Ward-Prowse. For me, I look at it and I feel like, why? Why are you getting rid of him when he's better technically than Souček? That's the real reason. Like, you got to look at this from a midfield point of view. As a Lopetegui standpoint, James Ward-Prowse is better technically, better at set pieces than Souček. I think he will contribute more goals than Souček. I don't understand why you're trying to get rid of him or trying to usher him out the door to Nottingham Forest or Southampton. That's just my personal opinion. Mitch, what are you saying about Ward-Prowse, mate? Because I know something. I'm going to say, I'm going to say this quickly. If you had a choice between Souček and Ward-Prowse, you're going to have James Ward-Prowse at here. Simple as that.
It's close, but I would say just Ward-Prowse for me. I think like with Ward-Prowse, you bring him on and it don't really change the game. I think to have Souček come off the bench will have more of an impact. But again, start Ward-Prowse. I'd rather start Ward-Prowse than Souček. So it's one of them.
And I think real quick before Jay has his piece, a loan or permanent deal plays a big part in this as well. If we loan Ward-Prowse out to Southampton or Nottingham Forest, I think that's a piss take. I truly do. If we're going to get rid of him, at least get 20 plus for him. Even though I don't agree that's his value, get 20 plus for him and put that towards Soler, whatever option Lopetegui and the Pearl Diver, the gem hunter seems fit, Mr. Steiden.
See, I hear what James is saying, and I will let Jay land. Yeah, Lopetegui wants Soler. That's why he wants JWP out. But if that's the case, you get rid of Andy Irving. You really would. Like if someone said to you right now, there's 15 million. There's 15 million for Andy Irving. You would, Mitch. I'm not gonna lie. Who would you rather have, James Ward-Prowse or Irving? Now I understand Irving. Well, fair enough.
That's what my heart says.
Yeah, but not our wallets. Jay, what are you saying?
Yeah, I mean, I have made no secret of the fact that I like James Ward-Prowse, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I think he's been an overwhelming success at the club. I think you've got to put some respect on what he did last season. His goal involvements, I don't know how many he had
scored
in the
against
end,
City at home as well.
Yeah, there you go. Scored against Spurs. He scored the second goal against Spurs. Did he? He's come up. He's come up. Yeah, he's come up big when we've needed him to. I always go back to the home leg against Leverkusen when he absolutely run himself into the ground.
Yeah,
and he led that press for 90 minutes, and he was sensational in that game.
He could be playing in the 10.
This is the thing. I like to think that there's a role for both Souček and Ward-Prowse in the squad, but at the same time, we've got a lot of players. You then add Alvarez and Rodriguez in there. He likes to play Paqueta sort of deeper to actually get on the ball and pick a pass. There just isn't room, and you've got to find somebody that makes way for him to get in a play that he's actually going to lose. And to the point of Irving versus Ward-Prowse, I'm as big an Andy Irving stan as the next person, but like if we take emotions out of it, he's not Premier League standards. So he should probably be moved on. Ward-Prowse is on what, 120 odd grand a week? If you can get 20 mil from him and 120 odd grand a week off the wage bill and then get a player that Lopetegui is going to actually use, it's just sensible. I'll be gutted because I think he'll go somewhere and he'll do really, really well. But at the same time, if you get a good bid come in, if it's a loan with obligation and it totals up to about 20 mil, I think it's reasonable business. Move him on and you know, he had a good year at West Ham and I wish him all the best. But, you know, there's...
So what are we all saying? Fever, are you saying no or yes?
I'm saying no.
Mitch, you're saying...
Yes, if it means we get another midfielder.
Jay, you're saying...
If the price is right, yeah. If we can get 20 mil plus for him, then begrudgingly, yeah.
All right, yeah, I say no.
For me...
Under every circumstance.
Yeah, like, for me, I understand it, but this is where Lopetegui's downfall is going to happen, I believe. Yeah, I reckon this is where people are going to start to look at him and go, what the fuck are you doing? Because if you're going to play Thomas Souček as a 10... No, I'm being serious. I'm being
no, I like that.
Serious.
You said that with conviction.
Yeah, I'm being fucking serious, mate. I don't sugarcoat shit. You should know me by now, right? At the end of the day, right, you've got to look at this on face value at the minute. Thomas Souček's not a 10. Yeah, but Ward-Prowse, like what Jay said's bang on. That Leverkusen game, go back and watch that game, especially in the first half. That geezer run his fucking soul out for us. Yeah, and if you're playing a pressing game and we're going to be this pressing... control the ball and press inside.
He's someone great to lead the charge.
Yeah, you have him up there. Thank you very much, Mickey.
Thank you, Mickey.
But then again, are you going to start him and are you going to start him that high up the pitch?
But the way I look at it is Souček doesn't do enough, right? Other than what you said earlier on, score and defend. That's all he does. Yeah, like, that's all he can do. Whereas Ward-Prowse can create.
You can't defend. He can defend his own box, but even defending, I think Souček's shit at defending. He gets run around all the time.
But if you've got someone, like, one thing he's got his energy and legs about him, Ward-Prowse. Like, for me, I just look at this and I feel like it's the old saying, the first one in, last one out sort of thing, isn't it? Like, do you know what I mean? Or the last one in, first one out, however you want to fucking put it. So, you know, but you get me drift. But listen, wherever he goes, he hasn't been a bad player for West Ham. When people slag him off, you know, is what it is. Let's come to this man. No, for Aguerd, loan move to Saudi. Jay, what you saying about that?
Yeah, I mean, look, he's been frozen out of the squad, hasn't he? And he clearly has no future under Lopetegui. He's not been in the matchday squad. There's two sides of looking at this, right? He clearly thinks a lot of himself. In that he seems to have turned down moves to like Wolves, Wolfsburg, some like French clubs, and he seems to either think that he's going to get a top club coming for him, or he's going to get big money from somewhere. So we had like questions about the guy's attitude, and they seem to be coming home to roost at the moment. I mean, I look at it this way. He's another one where we paid a lot of money for him. It hasn't worked out. That seems to happen quite a lot at West Ham. That's fine. I think we're all used to that. But sending him out on loan when we don't have cover, because Zuma's as good as gone now, it will be so West Ham that we let both of them go, we don't replace them, and then Todibo and Kilman both pick up injuries. And then we're left with poor old
Wan-Bissaka, right centre half.
Yeah, we're left with poor old Konstantinos Mavropanos as the senior centre back, and he won't have a clue what he's doing. Like, so I hope that West Ham do the sensible thing here. If we get the right money and there's like an option/obligation there, and we get good money for him, fine. But you have to replace him. You can't let him go without replacing him.
I'll go next. I agree with everything what Jay said. For me, he's let me down there for Aguerd. Shout out to Alfred in the chat. Fever, do you take it back your praise for Aguerd? I certainly do. I do and all, mate. I think he's let us down. I remember, I'll tell you one key thing.
Don't say you don't take it back. You just say you were wrong and you move on.
I am wrong, mate. I roll my fucking hands up. I'm a big boy. I can accept it. I'm wrong, mate. I'm not fucking right all the time. One thing I will say is it proved to us, what was it, 2 years ago or 18 months ago at the World Cup 2022, he was nowhere to be seen at West Ham. Literally, wasn't fit and all that. And then all of a sudden he goes with Morocco to the World Cup out in Qatar, and he's playing every fucking game, and
Yeah.
it turns out he's fit and all that. Do you know what I'm saying? This geezer can't defend in the air, which is a problem for us because when balls are coming in, like we need someone who can head the ball away, and he can't do it. On the ground, he's not too bad. For me, we need to get the money for him, and we need to go and get Trevor Chalobah from Chelsea. That is the guy. Go and get him, bring him in, integrate him in.
100%.
Imagine having Chalobah, Tadibo, Mavropanos, and Kilman. That's not a bad four. Like, I'm going to be real. So yeah, that's me. Mitch, what you saying?
Can cover it right back as well, so I don't ever have to play there again. Would you say sorry, James?
Well, what I did
look
say,
at
Lost
he-
his
he
hatred of Soufal.
He let his spite and hatred of the Czech boys overtake his mind and thoughts. He didn't even hear the question you asked him.
You know another thing as well. When you was watching the Euros, and I watched the Czech Republic game, the first game, and I was watching Souček and Soufal, and they were horrific, terrible. They were really embarrassing, and Soufal was getting destroyed. And I was sitting there thinking, these boys play for West Ham United. And I was just looking at, especially Soufal, because Soufal had the worst poor game out of both of them. It made me feel sick, and I thought,
say that. Hold on. It made you feel sick, did it, Mitch?
yeah. I was waiting.
Are you going to answer the question or?
Sorry,
Yeah,
what's
you're
the
gonna-
question, James? Sorry, mate.
Well, basically, Aguerd, it hasn't been a success. What's your thoughts? Help me out.
I'm
in the
gutted.
chat.
I did like the
Thank
look of
you.
him since he come in. But if you can't defend your own box in the Premier League, then that is a major problem. And he couldn't. I remember United away. It's one of the worst defensive displays I've ever seen from an individual. And we cannot have players like that in the Premier League. He's not built for the Premier League as well. He's very weak. 50-50 duels. First game of the season last season that springs to my mind when he got destroyed by Solanke all game, got ragdolled by him. It will just happen with loads of physical type strikers in the Premier League as well. So, yeah, we need something a bit more bollocks, really, and a bit more discipline, defensive discipline in their own box, and a bit of muscle. So, yeah, get him out.
So would you move him on or no? You
Yeah,
haven't
I would.
answered the question yet.
Yeah, 100%.
Well,
There's no point even keeping him, even if he don't get replacement, because
Would you really, Mitch? Would you really go into the season with just 3 centre backs? Would you be happy with that?
Because I think he will play Alvarez as the backup centre half.
Oh dear.
A man who's never played at centre back in the Premier League before.
Not in the Premier League, no, but I think he will
Tell
play.
you what, internationally, yikes.
Yeah, I must admit.
I don't know.
Lucas, what you saying about Aguerd, mate?
Fuck off, man.
I'm kind of in, or not kind of. I agree with Jay mostly. I think, I like this should have been done a week ago, and I think we've left it way too late. Where we cannot go into the season with 3 center halves. That's just absolutely diabolical. Even 4, knowing West Ham it might not be enough. But yeah, I think we just left it too late. Unless we literally have like Chalobah on standby, or someone else, or Danso, whoever the other options are. I don't know if he's moved yet.
Who's Dancer?
So
You
Danso.
ignore him. Carry on.
But yeah, I don't know. I think we've left it a bit too late, and I think again, who knows? If we do keep him around, maybe he does have 1 or 2 good matches where we really need him. And yeah. So I would say keep him under the circumstances that we just have left it too late.
I say sell. I think it's the right time as long as there's a replacement in place. West Ham have to get
You
this
won't
right.
get decent value even next year.
Well, I'm going to be honest. I don't think. I agree with what you boys have been saying. Like, why had they've left it so late in the day when he should have been really at the door at the beginning part of the summer is questionable. Don't understand why he was playing sort of in the sort of pre-season friendlies and everything.
We've been too worried about buying players and not selling them.
Yeah, I agree, mate. I agree. Right, let's come to this man. Maxwell Cornet, loan to Southampton. Mitch, what are you saying about Maxwell? Because I remember the days when you used to say, "Get Cornet on the wing," and I've got.
You know, that was one of
the
my rare moments where I was actually wrong.
Rare, huh?
Yeah.
But it's because I just wanted to see him, because our attack was so, lacking creativity at the time. And we had nothing on the left. And we had that cunt Ben Rama on the left.
God,
I thought
Venom.
Cornet could not be any worse. And that was my point. He probably was just as bad. So yeah, see you later. He's got no time left at West Ham. Massive shame.
I'm going to say this. I want to thank everyone for the super chats and becoming a member, because that prick down there's demonetized us. But there you go. I'm just going to say that. Right, for me, Maxwell Cornet, it hasn't worked out. Let's be real. £17.5 million. Ain't his fault. All his fault. Like, only West Ham can go and get a player that's got one of the rarest diseases on the planet. You know what I mean? And he comes and plays for us, and he's just not the same player. I think get rid now rather than later. Let him go to Southampton. Hopefully he has a good season at Southampton and they stay up and they buy him. So there you go. That's it from me. Lucas, what you saying?
Yeah, it's a shame because I really like Maxwell Cornet. Nice guy as well. When I met him preseason, absolute hilarious story as well I have about him. But yeah, he's a nice guy. He came in with, I wouldn't say it was hype, but it seemed like to be a good purchase because of what he could offer and some of the potential he came off with some prior seasons. I don't know why my mind just went completely off the rails there. But yeah, like you said, it is a bit of a shame that only at West Ham we purchased someone who's a decent player, and then he just somehow comes up with one of the rarest. I can't remember if it was like the injury itself or he had some sort of condition with a bone that only 1% of people in the world have, according to his French physicist or whatever. But yeah, it's a shame. I wanted him to work out because I really like the type of player he is and what he offers. But yeah,
he did work out. He's got to gym.
Jay, what are you saying about Maxwell?
First of all, just very slight tangent. Mitch, put some respect on Mr. Said Benrahma's name, please. The man scored in a European final for West Ham United. So
Benrahma was finished.
Just gonna throw it out there. He scored in a European final. He
was my favourite player for the first season we had him. Lives around the corner for me. I love
just wanted to address that point before I go.
Joe, what? Right, every time Mitch thinks of Benrahma, this is how he feels. That is how he feels all the time. Go on, Jay. Landman.
Is there anyone you like, Mitch, like in this world?
Everyone on the West Ham squad, besides,
and
then just starts rattling off like player after player.
He likes his girlfriend, I think.
Besides from Socek and Sofra, and that's it.
Fair enough.
Yeah, Maxwell Cornet. I said when we signed him.
Cresswell. Can't stand Cresswell.
The man's played for your club for 10 years, mate. 10 years. He deserves please put some respect on my coach's name as well.
We don't have enough time to go over this
God.
dissertation of Cresswell.
Right. Maxwell Cornet, I didn't think it was a great signing when we signed him, to be honest. I thought he'd come off the back of like a pretty good season for a pretty bad Burnley side. And we signed him and it felt like just we need a winger, let's get him in. And as you say, Lucas, like this strange disease that he's got, and it just hasn't done anything for West Ham. Like even when he got his chance and he scored his goal at like Forest, was it last year? He was dreadful in that game. He was absolutely awful.
He loved being offside as well, didn't
mate, it was so frustrating, wasn't it? It was so frustrating. So, like, literally, if you can just get him anywhere on loan, on a permanent, on a free, like, just get him somewhere. If he goes on loan, he's in the shop window.
We will always remember Chelsea away, and we will always remember that Sheffield United goal as well.
Yeah, there we go. We've got our memories with him, but yeah, I say as much as he's probably been providing the vibes in the treatment room, his time at West Ham's probably done.
Yeah, I agree. I really do. It's a shame, but it is what it is with him. Before we wrap this up, gentlemen, I want to ask you something in regards to transfers. Obviously, that's the outgoings. We've had the incomings. Do we have any more incomings for you? Is there anyone else coming to West Ham? Are West Ham going to surprise us at the end with a Duran or someone like that? Or are we just in Fantasy Island?
Unless we get rid of someone, I don't see it happening.
I think there's too many moving parts to try and get someone like Duran in. I think we've got 3 strikers. Ings ain't going anywhere, is he? So we've got 3 strikers. You don't need a fourth. As good as Duran is, and as much as I'd like to see him at West Ham, you can't have a 4th striker and just like condemn like Danny Ings and Mikel Antonio to the reserves for an entire season. And you have to see too many outgoings to see incomings.
Yeah,
There's too many moving parts for me.
I will say, I don't think it necessarily has to be a transfer. If, let's just say, for argument's sake, if Cornet or Ings were to get their contracts terminated, I do think Soler could come in. But someone has to go, whether it's by termination or transfer. Someone has to go, blood.
Listen to this prick. West Ham Online. Jay, you have replaced me, mate. I hope you are loved as I
You
was.
are so weird, Alf.
He is Alf. I'm just going to say this, right? Public announcement, right? Alf, stop acting like some sort of waste man bird hiding behind the screen. Get your ass on this platform as soon as possible, right? No one is hunting you down, and no one's going to hurt you, Alf. Otherwise, I will put your photo on Twitter, right? So just next time, get your ass on here. Do you know what I mean? 'Cause you're acting like a right fucking weird one at the minute. You know what I mean? Strange and peculiar. Do you know what I'm saying?
We could be friends, Alf. Like I'm a friendly guy. Like, come on, let's have a chat.
Like, let's have a chat, Alf. For fuck's sake, stop acting like some sort of twat. That's what I'm gonna say. Right. Listen, I agree. I look at this. I think midfield. I'm hoping for a centre half. If I'm being honest, Aguerd out, another centre half in. If there is no transfers and we go with what we got and we get rid of Cornet, Aguerd, James Ward-Prowse, how do you think we will cope all the way up to January?
Not good.
No.
The fear in Lucas's eyes when he said that as well. Not good.
I don't know. Again, I don't. I'll die on this hill, and I don't care if I'm in the minority. I genuinely believe our midfield options we have at this club are well good enough to make something out of it. That's just me, though.
So are you saying that's Lopetegui then? That's got to get the best out of these players?
He is the head coach, not a manager. So,
but do you not think our midfield is the weakest part of our team?
It is for me.
It is,
100%.
but I don't think it's a skill issue. I think it's tactically.
See, I agree on that. I know. Like, do you know what I mean? When you're playing fucking players as tens,
but then again, like I said, he is a head coach, not a manager. So, like, he's got to work with what he's given. He doesn't. Obviously, he has a bit of say, especially with getting Max Kilman. But again, he is a head coach. He's supposed to work with what he's got. If he was a manager, it would be a little bit different. In my opinion, am I being a bit peculiar about it? Am I being a bit too specific? Sure, but that's just the way I think about it.
I think he has got to get this. I'll just say it. I think he's got to get to sort of this 11. He's got to get this sorted out right now. Right, that's one thing I will say. Like, that has to come like full circle and like make sure he's got it on. Do you know what I mean? Mitch, are you all right, bruv? Yeah, mate. Fucking hell. I could never do these streams with you on it.
Someone put 50p in Mitch before this tonight, didn't they? Christ.
This is nothing, mate. You should see us on the player ratings, mate. You wait till I start giving 5s and 4s to people.
Jay, I told you, you've seen nothing yet.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure I'm going to get on well with all of you lot when I manage to join for a player.
Trust me. And on here, we don't we clash on the stream and then we're mates after. It's fine. It's cool.
It's all love.
Do you know what I mean?
But
fucking hell, mate. That's what you get up to when your missus ain't there, then, is it? Do you know what I'm saying?
Mitch,
right,
Mitch
Lucas.
is a part-timer.
He's a part-timer. You know what I mean? He's wearing the clobber. I like the shirt, Mitch. Where'd you get the shirt?
that was at Liverpool away. They gave it away for free before every away fan.
Rest in peace, Toby Keith.
4 years ago, 5 years ago, I think it was. Football anniversary, probably more. Probably was. Oh, 2018 it was. Fucking hell.
Fair enough.
What a weird
25
turn that
years
was.
probably more than it was.
Ah, fair enough. Right, Lucas, anything you want to add on to tonight?
No, it was a great chat. I just hope West Ham shows a bit of something on Saturday, even though I think we all ultimately believe our downfall will be coming. But I want to see something different. I want to see what Lopetegui offers different. I want to see maybe we start off the match not flat with a bit of intensity this time. I don't know. So it is what it is.
Before we go, well, what did you make of that cup draw last night? Because I was fuming, mate.
Disgusting.
Oh, lads, like the concept of giving them lot more of an advantage is just absurd. If I can tell what will have happened behind closed doors. They'll have cried about fixture congestion. They'll have cried about how unfair it is on them. But none of them were crying when the Champions League and Europa League got extended and there was more revenue coming in and it was making them more money. So as far as I'm concerned, like, make any club in Europe, if they want to enter the Carabao Cup, make them enter their under-23 squad. If they're that concerned about fixture congestion, let them in, but maximum 3 first-team players in the starting 11.
I'm disappointed with who we drew, but I'm more disgusted with that and the Champions League's new format. I think it's just an abomination to the sport, in my opinion, and it's just moving closer to what like the NBA and the NFL are, where there's no longer clubs or franchises, and it's all about making money.
Like.
And one thing, shout out to George, because he hammers this point home all the time, and I agree. It's down to the other clubs as well, outside the Big Six, the Pig Six from the Premier League and all other leagues. No backbone. Why did we not stand up and say something? And I can tell you why. It's because it's money related. So it is what it is.
I'm going to be honest. I thought the format was fucking horrendous. I'm going to be real. Four of the Champions League sides get a home draw, and then it backs up with 2 of them away from home at the end. Now, if you're going to be fair, just do 3 and 3. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, that's what you do: 3 home, 3 away.
It's just more disgraceful that if Liverpool were to have drew Chelsea or United, they'd have to redraw because it would clash with their European fixtures. I think that is absolutely maniacal.
Yeah,
I think that's a disgrace to the sport and the cup.
And I do feel sorry for teams like Bolton, like Barnsley, and I know they're going to go down to London. Like Bolton have got Arsenal, and they're going to get their fucking asses handed, aren't you? Like,
at the same time, what I saw some of them fans of lower league clubs saying was that, but because they're more likely of drawing a Premier League a top opposition, their revenue increases. So even though they know that they've got no chance of winning the Carabao Cup, they go, well, at least we get we get to draw a big away day and get loads of revenue from it.
Yeah, but is that what it's really come to nowadays? Is it all about money?
I don't agree with it, but that's what I've heard.
Sadly, yes, that is what it's come to. That's like how you gotta look at it. Like, you know what? We're going to get shit on, but you know what? At least the club is getting some decent money. And again, for clubs like Bolton, Wimbledon, all that who are in the lower leagues, I don't think that's really a bad outlook. But for clubs like in the Championship, clubs like us, like it's shit, in my opinion.
It is. Just before we go, I just want to get your quick thoughts. How do we approach that game? Do we go strong or do we just let it go?
What, Liverpool?
Yeah.
If it's on a Tuesday,
we will line up against City. Sorry, mate. It's the same kind of way I think we line up against City. Just sit deep, ping them balls, hope for the best.
Hashtag that, ping them balls.
Things like Liverpool have shown that they're not the greatest, or not fully developed under Arne Slot yet in terms of keeping possession. They still got that bit of like counter-attacking flair, like that Luis Diaz goal we scored the other day. They've still got that. So if we like a bit in them to counter-attack, so I think if we just sit deep, try and absorb them, which I think we could, it'll be easier to absorb their attack than City's. I think we'd have a decent chance.
If we play on a Tuesday and we have a match on Saturday, go full strength. If we play them on a Wednesday and then play on Saturday, I'd probably go like half and half. But if we have a decent amount of days rest after the match, you got to go full strength.
I think I just to say this, Jay, and I'll let you land.
Yeah.
I think it's when it's the game after we play Chelsea. Or is it the game? Because what it is, if I got this right, we get Fulham when we come back, and then we've got Chelsea the following week. I think it's bang in the middle of that. Yeah, I mean, and we play Chelsea at 12:30 on a Saturday lunchtime, which is a bastard of a fixture. Do you know what I'm saying? So I agree with you. If we are strong, and we can get them on a Tuesday night, I would say, fuck it, let's just have a go. But if it's a Wednesday and we've got Chelsea at the LS on Saturday lunchtime, not for me. Go on, Jay.
I want a domestic treble, lads. I want us to go full strength. I think this is also a great opportunity for that Souček in the false nine or Souček in the nine kind of opportunity.
Come on.
Yeah.
Play long balls at Souček, see what happens.
Ping them balls.
Hashtag ping them balls on all socials. Like jokes aside, like I'm happy with us going strong in every competition this year. Yeah. We played 60 plus games for 3 years and has nowhere near as strong a squad. So as far as I'm concerned, go strong, try and win every competition. And if you end up like making a cup final and finishing 7th at the end of it, having aimed to try and win everything, I'm happy, lads. It's a great season. So strong as you can go. Like I'm here for it.
Yeah, I agree, mate. Right, we're going to wrap that up there. I want to thank Mitchell for coming back on. He's demonetized us. He's worn us out. But it's good to have him back. I will say that.
Shit.
Yeah, I mean, welcome back, Mitchell.
Thank you.
Also to Lucas, also to Jay. Both them boys have come on with me for the last couple of weeks. And Man City, Saturday night, 5:30. After fault player ratings, probably Saturday and stroke Sunday. Also, I'm going to say this. On Sunday, it's a historic day, ladies and gentlemen. 3 years since E20 started on Sunday. 2021 was when I come up with the bright ideas. James, why don't you start the YouTube channel on your own? And
worst decision you've ever made.
Yeah, well, it is, mate. Yeah. But do you know what? I wouldn't change it for the world. I've met some good people and Mitchell. It's been very, very nice. Do you know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. But Mitch is my boy. And Alfie, also, wherever he is, that little prick. He should come back on here and all, but he's scared of getting slated for some reason. So yeah, is what it is. But yeah, 3 years of E20 on Sunday. Smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, goes a long way. Hit the notification bell. We'll be back at the weekend. Enjoy your evening, and we will see you again in the next one. Bye.
Come with me,